What's up, guys? It's Joe with J Blake Photo, and in today's video, I think it's time we switch gears just a little bit. We've been talking a lot about Canon stuff, been talking about a lot of drones, GoPros, that kind of stuff. I think it's time we talk about non-Canon camera news. I think we need to talk about Nikon's new mega flagship, the Z9. If you like videos about cameras and new gear, photography, videography, and the drones and the GoPros and all that sort of stuff, go ahead and hit the like button. Giving me that thumbs up tells YouTube that this is the kind of content that I should be creating, and it sends more people my way. Of course, if you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and while you're there, go ahead and click on that bell so that you're notified when I send out new videos. If you're already a subscriber, go ahead and hit the bell now, and it'll start telling you when I upload. There's only about 30 or 40% of my subscribers that have hit that bell, and while I'm not, posting daily, I do post occasionally, and I would love you to know about it. I'm working on a goal of getting 10,000 subscribers by the end of 2020. I'm pretty close, and I'd really appreciate your help in that. Also, if you're into stills photography, go ahead and hit me up over on Instagram. I'm at jblakePhoto. There's a link down in the description for that. All right, on to the fun stuff. So if you've been wondering, like I have, why the D6 is kind of a paltry spec update from the D5, what Canon's gonna do with the 1R series, maybe another video about that, and whether or not Canon's gonna take the A9 and make it into some kind of crazy monster flagship mirrorless. We've been expecting to hear from Nikon about the next level. Now we're gonna be getting an update to the Z6 and the Z7. We're gonna get Mark IIs for both of those cameras very soon, but if you've seen those specs, you know it's a minor update for both of those cameras. What we're gonna talk about today is huge. This camera may already have some prototypes out in the field, and it is expected to be tested at the 2021 Summer Olympics in Tokyo, if there are Summer Olympics in Tokyo in 2021, fingers crossed, because I am a huge fan of the Olympics. Now, design-wise, this camera should be keeping many of the same elements that we see in the D5 and D6 Mega DSLR line from Nikon. Right, this is a sport shooters and wildlife shooters camera. It looks like Nikon, from these leaks, is going to be really trying to not so much leapfrog, but really make a splash in this segment. The description that I saw was that it would have R5 imaging, A9 to autofocus, and a better EVF with no blackout. Those are definitely some major fighting words, and they almost sound like the kind of thing that you'd hear in the 5th grade about your favorite robot. But moving on from that, the sensor is claimed to be a 46 megapixel full frame sensor, although there has been previous rumors of a 60 megapixel variant, and I'm sure that that will change a little bit as they swap in and out parts, as they prototype this device before they start putting it in the hands of folks towards the middle of next year. But that is a huge jump over the D6 with its current 20 megapixel sensor, as well as a jump over the 1DX Mark III with that same 20 megapixel sensor. Speed is claimed to be up to 20 frames per second, though we don't know if that's going to be an electronic or a mechanical shutter. I would be very impressed if we could see 20 frames per second with a mechanical shutter. That's some serious engineering, and it would significantly reduce some of the warping that you see with the electronic shutter, especially for fast-moving subjects and sports and wildlife. You're normally going to be seeing a lot of fast-moving subjects, so I can see how that would be huge for this segment. Also mentioned on the video side was 8K shooting. That would make it equivalent to the R5 on the Canon side, although I'm sure that this will not overheat. It looks like it's going to have a body design that's going to allow for quite a bit of heat dissipation, unlike the R5, where everything is packed in very small, and potentially made worse by an artificial internal timer. The new processor is supposed to be getting all new object recognition to detect and track objects, as well as improved autofocus, and I'm sure all the bells and whistles related to head and eye and babies and birds and dogs and cats and all the things that you want to take pictures of. Elephants, I'm positive, will be in there too. Now, the leaks that we saw had an ISO rating of 25,600 max, which doesn't sound right. I'm going to assume that they're missing a decimal point there, and it's going to be 256,000. Traditionally, with these super high-end flagship sensors, they really max out because really those sports and wildlife shooters, they sometimes really need to push it, especially when they're shooting at super high shutter speeds. But with the larger sensor, 46 megapixels, maybe 60, I don't know. We'll see what they do. So I forgot to mention 4K at 30, as well as 60, and at 120. So you're going to be getting that 4K slow-mo, again, probably without the overheating that you get with the R5. And with dual XQD and CF Express Type B slots, you're going to have all the options that you could think of as far as being able to use different media. No mention of the buffer size, although I'm sure it's going to be gigantic to be able to fit all of these shots, especially if it does end up having that 46 or 60 megapixel sensor. These are going to be giant raw images. You get gigabit LAN, as well as USB-C and Wi-Fi and GPS. I'm sure there's a whole host of other connectors in there that professionals are really, really looking for. It's also going to be getting a larger, more powerful battery and USB-C PD or power delivery charging, which I have been using on the Canon EOS R and have been loving. And with all of that, it looks like we're seeing a spec list that is designed to trump the Canon R5 without the overheating, but in a body with the weather sealing and heat dissipation that you'd expect out of a 1DX Mark III or a D5, D6 style flagship, which is why it's going to cost $6,000 to $7,000. That shouldn't be a shock. This camera is not for me, and it's probably not for you, unless you work for National Geographic. If you do, call me. So that's it. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. This camera's not going to be coming out probably until the end of next year, but we will probably see a handful of them at the Olympics. Is this going to save Nikon? Are they out of the woods now? Will the Z6 II and Z7 II make them more relevant with Canon and Sony kind of fighting out the top of the market? Let me know. And go ahead and hit the like button if you like videos like this. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Again, I'm trying to hit 10,000 subs by the end of the year, by the end of 2020. Got 2.5 months to go, and I'd really appreciate your help. If you are going to subscribe, go ahead and hit the bell when you do it. And if you're already subscribed and you haven't hit the bell, do that now, and you'll be alerted when I post new videos. Also, find me on Instagram at jblakephoto, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.